I'm going to leave you with one thought today, Bryce. I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. Categorically.
Okay.
The Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. Why are we being lied to?
Holy shit. Now today Ross Coulthart has come out with some insane news claiming that the Tic Tac video that was released, that was actually that occurred in 2004, that was released, it was major motherfucking news, it's turning out to be Skunkworks technology, Lockheed Martin. That's why I got some fucking stock on Lockheed Martin. So guys, this is really significant and we're going to be talking about it, so make sure you stay the whole video because it's going to be so fucking good. Surprise at the end, okay?
Retired Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, a retired Navy fighter pilot. Alex Dietrich, welcome to the NewsHour. So tell us what you saw back in a training mission in San Diego.
So in November of 2004, off the coast of Southern California, we were preparing for our deployment, running training exercises, and when we launched, anticipating going to a particular airspace and running these training exercises, we were interrupted for a real-world intercept. We were vectored to try to get a visual tally on something that another ship in our carrier strike group was picking up on their radar. So we followed their vectors and we ended up getting a visual contact. There were 4 aircrew and 2 aircraft. So each aircraft is a cockpit with a pilot and a weapons systems officer. And so among the 4 of us, we picked up this visual tally on this UAP, this unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And what did it look like?
So we describe it as looking like a Tic Tac. It looks like the little breath mint in larger scale, but white, oblong, no apparent flight control surfaces, no apparent visible means of propulsion, and it was maneuvering in a way that we didn't recognize, that we couldn't classify, we couldn't identify.
And what do you think it is, looking back?
Oh, I'm not qualified to make that analysis. It's almost 17 years now, and I know there are a lot of folks who are curious and concerned about it, but I gave my debrief, gave what I could in terms of the information and data from that day, and I'll leave it up to the expert analysts to do their job and make that determination.
So I'm not saying this is definitive, but let's just imagine for fun, just for a minute, that it actually is, right? So this video took place supposedly in 2004, and that is quite some time ago, am I right? And I wonder how many versions of this type of tech, or specifically Tic Tac technology, has been in production. Like, is this version 5, 10? What the fuck is going on? Have the US cracked anti-gravity? We've long suspected this, but we just can't know because everything is so tightly classified for national security reasons, right? Which is really frustrating. I wonder if China has their own Tic Tac, Russia, what the fuck, And then those drones that were coming in over New Jersey, like, what was that in connection to? Was the US testing some of its newer technology? So let's just take 1 minute or two to just inspect this wild-ass claims, because Ross Coulthart and his little sidekick recently brought out a podcast episode on Need to Know that was really informational, and you're gonna want to hear this, okay?
Why would they lie about this? The only reason I can think that they're lying about this is because they're trying to conceal the level of incompetence that has allowed the United States, after the expenditure of trillions of dollars on its national security budget, to develop a strategic disadvantage with its potential enemies. That's
based on what you just said, we should assume then a Manhattan Project style endeavor is ongoing right now to try to catch up. Do you hear anything about that?
Well, part of the problem that I'm hearing from people in the program is that effort isn't happening. and that they're seeing the Chinese particularly developing advances that are far beyond what we're capable of. There is, in fact, a frustration that a large part of this program has been egregiously underfunded, and that a lot of what has been developed has been kept secret by the private aerospace companies that control it. I'm going to leave you with one thought today, Bryce. I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. Categorically.
Okay.
The Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin technology. Why are we being lied to? This is the issue. Why is the United States government now participating at White House executive level in collusion with the national security state to keep secret the fact that they've made these advances? I suspect it's because they've realized that they're being overtaken by their foreign adversaries, and they don't want you to know that.
Okay, the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin. Well, in some respects, given how insane the Tic Tac behaved during the Nimitz, where it went from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than a second, then I would say, well, there's one for the U.S. team that obviously we have some good stuff out there, if that's the case, right?
Yes, but how much of that is being shared with the actual Defense Department that's responsible for the defense of the United States? This is the kind of questions that Congress should be asking.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying Lockheed Martin might, or anybody, but Lockheed Martin in this particular case has a Tic Tac that they are testing and have been testing and have access to, but they might not have shared it with the Defense Department of the United States, which probably paid for it in their trillion-dollar budgets. That's kind of mind-blowing in itself.
Those are the questions I think Congress should be asking. I mean, what I'm saying basically is...
Why are you saying this, by the way? Where is this from? How do we know this? What's going on?
I'm sorry, Bryce, I can't go there.
So Ross cannot go there, but he's making some really serious statements. He should at least give, a version of a explanation to how he comes to this reasoning. Explains that it's airtight, like he's sure of this, or else he wouldn't be bringing this up in this public capacity. We risk some serious, damage to his reputation. But let's just also take a second to talk about the wild-ass time we're living in. I mean, I think a day ago, right, or today, like Grok 4 released, so it's the newest best AI out right now in public, state-of-the-art, everything. I mean, the absolute best version is locked behind a $300 motherfucking dollar price tag. Jesus Christ, richest man on earth. Can't be surprised that he wants to make money. Like, all these companies that are like bringing AI to humanity, quote unquote, giving everyone access to all this, but putting it behind like fucking such ridiculous amounts of money. How will people who do not have access to this, use this for the better of humanity? It feels like only those rich enough to benefit from this will. So it's unmatched power when you consider the models in subscriptions. It's all just greedy fuckery. It's disgusting, right? And yes, I do understand it takes compute power. These businesses have to pay an enormous amount to have prompts even running in the first place. But it's still unfair advantages by companies. You have to consider the amount of power these companies get when they charge these ridiculous prices. Everyone wants like an edge, and people who can do so just fucking spends money, and it's not even guaranteed you'll make it back. Some people get lucky with these AI generation videos, Google's new thing, VI3, what the fuck it's called. It's really chaotic, and that was what is expected from AI, and it's only going to get worse, right?
Have you formed any general conclusions about what you think you experienced then?
Yes, I think what we experienced was, like I said, well beyond the material science and the capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years.
I mean, that's really ironic though too, right? Because Fravor claims that this is not technology we could have in the next 10 to 20 years. But in actual reality, we had this tech in 2004. Oh my God. We've not been benefiting as a society, as a planet, and as a race at all because it's so tightly under wraps. It's kind of sad, right? Like 2004, it's like 20 years ago's tech, but we are so behind on the actual place we are at that we think it's in the future. We don't even have this, but it's like 20 years ago. That's ridiculous, right?
Knows it. And David goes, oh yeah, that was, it had to be alien. I said, sir, with all due respect, that was how the Lockheed skunk works.
Really? That made the craft?
Yeah, that was one of ours.
And
he is now.
So because Fravor wouldn't say that now.
Oh, he did say so recently.
But in front of Congress, he says
he's been told since then. He's corrected. So I said, no, that came out of the Lockheed Skunk Works. It's one of ours. It was something that they did on purpose to see this global organization to see how our military would react.
So you think that Tic Tac was Lockheed Skunk Works? Wow.
In the book we're going to give you, there's a very good account of it from 1967 over Pennsylvania, and we have a whistleblower who saw it being offloaded out of a big ship out of the in 1991, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's ours.
That was
and then later, very recently, a Lockheed executive admitted to David Fravor that was theirs.
Really?
So, but I knew from the first time I saw it. I said it was all over CNN. I go, that's not extraterrestrial. It's one of ours. And David goes, oh yeah, that was. It had to be alien.
So was Mr. Stephen Greer right after all? I mean, there's so much questions around his credibility regarding some people claiming he hasn't been a doctor in so many fucking years. He's only been doing the UFO thing, and any average human wouldn't have time to be a doctor and this UFO disclosure expert, And then, there's some people claiming, even on Danny Jones, I don't know if you saw this, that he was working for Mossad, Israel. Like, Israel is coming into the more fringe topic, as a country more and more. So, is it are they establishing their disinformation, like agents like the CIA or three-letter agencies, their own? And, like, it seems like all the countries that has this weird information, agendas, pushing narratives, start to have these fringe and weird topics for discussion. So something that's really surprising, especially to me, like Eric Burleson, like I was always watching Luna, all these timber shit. I was not expecting this guy to be so involved and so active in ufology, and I've got to commend it. Burleson has been coming out on so many statements, being transparent and letting people know what he thinks, suspects, and knows for certain. And that is a really good approach to this topic, I think. And I just say you should keep doing so, and you are appreciated, and the public should definitely make sure he knows that he should keep on with that kind of, good work.
I've had two people come to me that say that the Tic Tac is a Lockheed Martin creation. The latest person that came to me says he has video of the first, second, and third iteration of the Tic Tac, and he's going to show me. So I'm trying to set that up. The way he describes it is that they had a prototype, they've made changes to it, they've made it more advanced, and then now it's in iteration number 3, which I did see a photo of, and it looks like pretty advanced military like craft, like a plane, but it's clearly human made. It's nothing that I've ever seen, our military has, but his claim is that they have discovered a propulsion that's a new type of propulsion. They used it in the first iteration, which was the Tic Tac. They have an intermediary one that they are more advanced with, and then now they're putting it inside of what looks conventional, so that it's not obvious.
Disguise. Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying eventually the tech makes its way into things that we're already familiar with.
Well, right.
What was that quote about Tom DeLonge about, we were born too early to explore the earth and born too late to explore space, but we actually are born just in time to explore space, but it will take an act of God to get this kind of technology available to the human race. I know the quote is far off, but it's something in that general direction, right?
So I was talking with Commander Fravor the other day, and he shared some information that came to him that was just, email style. But George, it was passage material. And I don't know if people on our podcast know what that means, but sometimes in SAPs or special access programs, they have what they call passage material. It's material that is leaked to people. People try to hit us with this shit all the time, George, like false information as journalists, like they're going to use our mouths to their benefit. Little do they know we're good at our job. But the thing is that this material is being passed around to people like even Commander Fravor, where they're trying to kind of convince him that Lockheed Martin, as an example, had some sort of similar technology to what he saw. First of all, he laughed. He's like, if people knew my job right now, they would know that I know that is not true. So it was just, he said it to me as like an alert. Have you seen this before? And I said, I have. Do you understand what's happening, Commander? And he goes, I do. So basically, it's a really interesting story, and it has a lot of real information in it. But there is a core fake information in there. They call it passage material. It was eventually, I can backtrace it, reverse engineer it, where it comes from an agency. And I'm just going to say it, man. Why does the CIA have a completely different methodology of shaping the emerging UAP narrative compared to other good agencies? Like, there are some good people in the Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, in the DOJ, as I said, even in the DOE, DIA, there are good people looking to give correct information. So I just want to tell you, there's passage material being pushed around within the UFO community, and people are being approached by individuals, and they're kind of like boasting about it. Shut your mouths. You don't even know who these people are. So I just want to kind of give that little hidden message to people. Careful who you talk with. There's people trying to give you fake information. You got a question, call Crazy Uncle Jeremy. I will let you know and give you the receipts and the documents, as the kids say, of what I know to be false information people are trying to get out into the media. So it's a weird time. It's an information warfare moment. This is a moment where 2024 is going to be defined by our human intelligence. It's going to be defined by our ability to separate the wheat from the chaff, as you say, and I say the bullshit from the truth.
Subscribe notifications on right now, or you are a
fucking degenerate.
Coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on. Our future is coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.